So let's go over to here and this one. This is 1988. This is They Live, and this is, well, it's a cult science fiction directed by John Carpenter. I say science fiction, could be a documentary. Basically the story is a backpacker, John Nadder, is travelling and he finds work on a building site where he makes friends with a fellow construction worker, Frank. And after work, they go to a rundown camp on a nearby street where they both go and grab a meal. They can, it's a, sort of like a soup kitchen type of thing, and a place to sleep for the night. And this whole kitchen is run by a man called Gilbert. And a group of video hackers have broken into, in the meantime, into the transmission of a television channel. One of them rants on about signals that they've discovered which enslave humanity. And also, there's a church nearby, and there seems to be some interesting activity. Nadder notices Gilbert, the kitchen's leader, and a blind street preacher that Nadder saw earlier going into the church. So he surreptitiously follows them in, but when he's discovered, he quickly escapes. And in the night, the authorities bulldoze the camp down and beat up the people. Nadder escapes in the mayhem. And the next day, he finds a box from inside the church building and takes it away. And he's disappointed to find it only contains plastic sunglasses. So he dumps the box in a bin, but keeps one pair of the sunglasses that he happens to be holding. And shortly afterwards, he casually tries on the sunglasses as he's walking down the street. And he's amazed that they show the world in black and white. And they also, any form of mass media, such as posters and signs, etc., is translated into plain typographic subliminal messages such as obey or consume or buy or conform. And it also turns out that the sunglasses reveal that some people are not people but aliens with alien heads. And after an altercation in a supermarket, Nadder is confronted by the police, and he can see some of those are aliens. And so he shoots them and takes their weapons, why not? And he goes to a bank and shouts the line, comes into the bank holding one of the police guns and shouts the line, I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. That's where that line comes from. And then he kills a few aliens because, why not? And he takes a hostage. And the hostage is a woman named Holly Thompson. Holly Thompson. And she drives him to her home where he rests and recovers. And at one point, Nadder tries to get Holly to try on the glasses, but she refuses and then pushes him out the window, one story up from the ground, before calling the police. Nadder tries to find the box of sunglasses that he hid, but they've been picked up by the rubbish collection, which he has to sift through the lorry and eventually finds it. And then Nadder meets Frank in a street alley, where Nadder tries to get Frank to try on the sunglasses, and he too refuses. And a very, very long street fight ensues, and I mean long, about 5.5 minutes in the film, although it seems as though it will never actually end. And the screenplay to this film was actually based on a graphic novel, Alien Encounters, which was an 8-page short story called Nadder. And this, in turn, was based on Ray Nelson's short story called 8 o'clock in the morning, and that was published in the 1960s. So that's the root, that's the original story. The graphic novel Alien Encounters published a story called Nadder based on that. John Carpenter bought the rights to both the short story and the comic book, and the screenplay is by Frank Armitage. But that turns out to be John Carpenter, under a different name. Sandy King, John Carpenter's wife, designed the look of the aliens. The very long fight scene, a spectacularly long fight scene, actually took 3 weeks to rehearse. Carpenter himself did all the music for the film, as is his normal way of doing music for his own films, alongside Alan Howarth, who usually works with him. In 2010, a remake was suggested, but nothing much seems to have come of this in the intervening years. At the time, it was looking more like it was going to be a remake of 8 o'clock in the morning, the original story, than of this film. So, 1988, They Live. Have a good week, everyone. Thank you very much. Good morning.